Hi, everyone. Welcome to AAISP's Inside Sales Studio. This week's Monday Morning Sales Minute is brought to you by our proud sponsor, Salesforce.com. Be sure to stick around at the end to hear how their high-velocity sales can boost productivity for every salesperson every day and from anywhere. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's Monday Morning Sales Minute. I'm here with Tom Dekle. Tom is an IBM client executive. He's also a member of the AISP board, and he's been to a lot of AISP events. He's a real thought leader. Tom, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Bob. I'm glad to be here, and thanks for asking me to be.
Yeah, sure. Tom, you and I were on a webinar just a couple days ago. It was, Salesforce.com revealed some research, and we chatted briefly about the importance of staying educated, staying sharp. Can you talk to the viewers today, your thoughts about why continual development is important, and maybe some tips on how to do it?
Oh, sure, Bob. Thanks. During this pandemic, it's brought it back. I think my whole life, for me, as I was telling someone just yesterday, actually, has been about continuous education. The technology changes. The core of our business is the same. It's the same business, meeting people, connecting with people, solving their problems, and selling something to them. That's as old as time. But how you do it, all the different tools, technologies, methodologies, way to understand your customer, that's what changes in a constant. And something I learned in college has stayed with me, which is technology, you can catch up in a very few months because it changes so often as long as you're willing to educate. So even if you feel like you're out of the game, education gets you back. So I've sort of dedicated that, but this pandemic has made me understand that you need to reinvigorate it because we've had some time. We have some time less travel, but our customers have more time because they're not traveling. So a couple things I do, I try to dedicate on my calendar a week. Every week I have a day that I pick an hour or two that I say I'm going to make sure I'm educated. I don't have my clipboard near me, but I have a clipboard of to-dos. I actually dedicate at the bottom of the to-do list. There's another column or section called education, and I keep a running list of all the things, technologies. Could be Kubernetes, it could be behavioral economics, it could be a book, but I keep a list of them so I can do it. And I would also say right now it's really cool because with the pandemic, a lot of organizations have opened up their education, have opened up their webinars. They're getting better at webinars because they're having to focus on them, so they're good now. And I'm meeting my customers at these webinars and blogs, et cetera, because I see them. I use it as a chance to link in to meet them because we just went to something together and I'm meeting them. But more importantly, I'm going to leave with better skills and better, the education does that. So, dedicating time, making a priority on your to-do list, keeping that item, and it's always one of my top 10 is an education item.
That's great.
Those are some of the things I think are important.
So you mentioned a webinar. In fact, we've been on some together. Webinar, reading a book. Any other ways you continue to educate yourself besides those two?
Yeah, well, for me, it's about pulling a thread, to be honest. So whether it's a blog or whether it's an article, I always challenge myself to find something in that blog or that article to grab a hold of and jump over and, maybe Google search it, maybe go find an organization. And this is probably a key point for me. And I can actually give an example is by pulling that thread, be willing to jump into areas you wouldn't jump into. I remember listening once to reading an article about behavioral economics of meeting your customer, understanding them, meeting them where they are. Anyway, and in it was a little thread about how advertisers do that at the NAB. And I went to the NAB and I looked at their website and I ended up going to one of their conferences. Which is basically, just to kind of round it out, how I found inside AISP, 9-10 years ago, Bob?
I remember
in Minnesota.
I remember meeting you for the first time, and boy, that opened up for both of us, right? Because I need to be, if anybody needs to stay on top of things, I do, because I'm helping a community. But you and I both have benefited from all the different people we Matt, I call up you call me when we have a challenge or want to compare notes. Look, continual development, everyone. Tom, that's some great tips, some great advice. We'll see you at another virtual event, I'm sure. And someday, maybe we'll see you at the retreat or leadership summit.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, everyone, stay tuned to hear a word from our sponsor today. Thanks for joining us. Good selling. Bye-bye.
Today isn't like it was before. And right now, we're all rising to the new challenges we face. When sales teams become remote and have to sell virtually, they need a dynamic tool that lets them work smarter by driving productivity, scaling best practices, and adapting with agility so they can build trusted customer connections. Salesforce High Velocity Sales is made for the moment and built to evolve. It helps managers lead remote sales teams and streamline the sales process. It keeps reps agile, meeting changing demands while boosting productivity for every employee. This is a new world in sales. Now you can win and thrive from anywhere.